Time is now 9:11 a.m. on Friday, June 6th, and I will call the Central Virginia Transportation Authority meeting to order. As is customary, we'll lead with the Pledge of Allegiance. I'll ask the mayor to lead us in that.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Well, welcome. This is an interesting meeting because we're going to do some leadership changes or elections that'll take place on July 1st. We'll have a few comments. We do have some presentations. We have a couple of reports, and we do have an action item. So it's going to be a full committee meeting, but should go rather quickly. All things being equal on the authority's agenda. With only one action item. So thank you all for being here as we get into the summer months. We know people's schedules get very, very busy, so we really appreciate it. If you haven't had a chance to eat, there's a full breakfast buffet out there. Thank you, Mr. Parsons, for getting all of that set up. We really appreciate that. With that, we're going to move into recognizing whether we have a quorum or not, and I'm going to ask for Ms. Scott to take over for potential certification quorum.
Yes, sir. Chair Emeritus Thornton. Town of Ashland, Mr. Hodges.
Here.
Charles City County, Mr. Atkins. Chesterfield County, Mr. Carroll.
Glad to be here.
Goochland County, Mr. Spoonhour.
Here.
Hanover County, Chair Davis.
Present.
Henrico County, Vice Chair Nelson.
Here.
New Kent County, Mr. Moyer.
Here.
Powhatan County, Mr. Donati. Mr. Kinney. City of Richmond, Mayor Avula.
Here.
Virginia House of Delegates, Delegate Cousins. Here. Senate of Virginia, Senator Hashmi. Commonwealth Transportation Board, Mr. Davis.
Here.
Capital Region Airport Commission, Mr. Miller. Mr. Rutledge.
Here.
GRTC, Ms. Adams.
Here.
RMTA, Ms. Dean.
Here.
DRPT, Mr. Trogdon.
Here.
Mr. Vince. Thank you. VDOT, Mr. Britch. Mr. Totten.
Here.
Mr. Riblett.
Here.
Virginia Port Authority, Ms. Nelson. Mr. Cross.
Here.
Thank you. That concludes the roll call for attendance. We do have a quorum.
Let the record reflect that we have a quorum. I have received two remote participation requests from two members of this authority. First, Mr. John Hodges, and the stated reason for the public record is a temporary or permanent disability or other medical condition that prevents the member's physical attendance, as well as Mr. Thomas Cross for the stated reason of a personal matter, specifically a scheduling conflict that prevents in-person attendance. I have approved these for remote participation, but it does require a confirmation vote, and we can take them separately or together. My motion would be to approve them together unless anybody has any problem with that. Any dissent on that?
Second.
Very well. I'll move for approval. We have a second from Mr. Carroll. We can do this by voice vote. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Very well. Thank you. Mr. Cross, I'll let your mother know that you're working diligently today and that you could not make the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I do know Mr. Cross's family and a fine family as well as constituents. So thank you for being with us. Next item on the agenda is consideration of amendments to agenda. I move to amend the agenda and remove item D3, appointments to the CVTA Finance Committee as a full removal. Is there a second? Second. We have a motion to second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Due to the nature of the 2-year.
Aye.
Thank you. All right, we've got the ayes. Waiting on the side. The explanation was those are appointed for 2-year terms. So there's no need to have a reappointment. In the past, we've done confirmation, but there's no point in it. So it's a matter of expediency and good administration. Next item on the agenda is proposed approval of the CVTA minutes from April 25th, 2025. They're on page 4. If all members had an opportunity to review those, are there any additions, deletions, or corrections? Anyone care to speak to the minutes? Is there a motion to approve?
So move.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Any opposition? Let the record reflect the motion passes. Open public comment time. Open public comment time is a time where anyone who wishes to address the authority on any matter that is under the authority's authority to come forward, please state your name or the entity that you represent. You'll have up to 5 minutes per speaker. Is there anyone present physically? Seeing none, is there anyone remote? Last call. We will now close open public comment time. Item number 5 is the CVTA Chairman's Report. Mr. Parsons and I are going to have some discussions with y'all during his time. But what I wanted to do was take a moment to recognize a few individuals. Last year, we started a program where we felt like it was important for people to really know what was going on in the CVTA, some of the great work that's been done. And so this year, Mr. Parsons and I were kind of doing a circuit. We were riding around, going to see different localities in the evenings, afternoons during their board meetings, and kind of just giving an update to those in the localities who lead this authority, and kind of help with the folks who sit on here explain just the importance to their other board members. Not to say that we had a presupposition that they didn't understand the importance, but just get down to the nitty gritty. And the last time that was done was when Mr. Carroll did that, and he got a standing ovation at my board meeting in my locality, which our board's never received a standing ovation. So I said I was going to go and have to do something. But that said, it was very important, and I want to thank all of y'all for having us and hosting us. I want to thank Mr. Carroll for Chesterfield County providing all of your audio vid team. I mean, just phenomenal work. But with that, some folks couldn't be with us today, but I created a new award. I hope I'm picking up. Sid, am I picking up on here?
Yep.
Yeah, this authority was created a number of years ago, but when you look at the folks who are appointed here by the authority of their home councils, right? Their home governing bodies, they tend to put folks on there that they trust, that they know have a legacy of good leadership. And when I think about that, all of the things that go into leading an organization, and you have some of the people that you've served with over the years, a lot of folks just kind of rise to the top like cream. And so we created an award this year through discretion of the chair. It's not in the bylaws. So I've always thought if it's not in the bylaws, then I can do it. If it doesn't prohibit me from doing it. Our attorney disagrees with that, but I'm not going to recognize him for comment. So with that, this year I created the CVTA Lifetime Achievement Award, and I want to present this to Mr. John Hodges with deep appreciation from your colleagues here at the CVTA. So John, I'm sorry you couldn't be here, and I know this comes as a surprise to you because we weren't gonna tell you prior to you being here. But I'll make sure we deliver this either to your council meeting or I'll come to your home and make sure that we get this. But the CVTA Lifetime Achievement Award goes to Mr. Hodges. So congratulations. Welcome.
Well, thank you so much. It was unexpected and it's much appreciated. It's a great organization and it's been an honor to serve with you. Thank you.
Well, thank you, John. And I'm going to ask Mr. Thornton to stand up with me on this one. So last year we created the Frank J. Thornton Chairman's Award. And the first one was presented to Henrico County as a whole. And so I consider Mr. Thornton the first chair of CVTA, the chair emeritus, and I think we would all agree. I'm going to ask him to kind of open up. I always think it's interesting from a legacy standpoint to talk about the first CVTA meeting and how that went. So, Mr. Thornton, I will say this. You've got the Super Bowl, you've got all these reality TV shows. I'm not sure that there was a government meeting that was tuned in at a higher level than the first CVTA meeting. And many of us who weren't there was during COVID, we're kind of watching and saying, what's going on here? What are we doing? And it was a roller coaster and it was a lot of fun for those of us sitting back drinking coffee who weren't there watching this go on. So Frank, you want to open that up, and then I'm going to present this award to somebody, and I'm ask Frank to come back every year with the presentation. He's been so kind to do it. So tell us about that first meeting.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I just want to say beyond that first meeting that I just knew that we had a new creature that was being birthed. And of course, all of us who were there probably won't forget that meeting. But if you will allow me, I want to just say this. I have just been so proud of the baby that came from that first meeting. And when I think about what a beneficent and good creature that said, let's do something we should have done in the past. Let's look at our thoroughfares, roads, see why we can't make them better with the inclusion of our citizens. And let's have a little pot of money where we can help, coming from people who live in those areas. And that's the special magic that each of you has been part of. So I just want to, my role is just to always say thank you. And I'm very appreciative of that. But the first meeting was the first meeting, you know? And great things came from that meeting there. And so, Mr. Chair, I want to thank you for allowing me to say a word about that. But I have always had good feelings about the CVTA, which does not mean that it was all smooth all the time. We had our challenges, but we did overcome. And the word, as many of you will recall, that I suggested that we follow, collegiality. And you've continued to do that and keep that up.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Please. Survey here is kind of a tough thing. I go through and I look, and again, 100% discretionary, right? I look at who's contributed to the organization, and of course, that list is everybody. And then you look for those who've gone above and beyond or had a particular challenge that was not of their calling, not of their choosing, but they rose to that challenge and met that challenge and advanced the organization. And this year was really clear. There was no question about it. For those serving on this authority, when you look at someone who has gone out and just, I mean, fought, led, and then delivered. I mean, and that is, at the end of the day, that's what this authority is here to do, is to deliver. And so it was very clear to me that Rex Davis needed to be honored with the Frank J. Thornton Chairman's Award. So I'm going to ask Rex to come on up here for all the work he's done. Rex, all right, so here's the deal with this. Put this together kind of like a project, you know what I mean? It's multifaceted. So if you walk out, you just get hold them both. But thank you. And then we'll snap a picture, and then I want you to make a few remarks. But thank you for your leadership on the CDD. Come on in, Frank. Rex, you care to make a few comments?
This is a complete surprise. So I cry at store openings. I'll just let you know. I got into this role a couple of years ago. I didn't know what to expect. So I figured the first thing to do is just go meet with the people that are in my district and try to sort things out, figure things out, listen to people, and just have people tell me what's important to them. And because it's my thinking that if I don't know what's important to you, I can't advocate for you. So I need to be plugged in and know what's going on, so that I can advocate for you. I think Richmond's been very fortunate in this round of Smart Scale. Obviously, we've benefited very well. The entire district has. So I'm not sure that I can lay claim to any of that. I think I'm maybe in the right place at the right time from that. But it is this region's time to shine. So with the origination of this body and what it's able to do as far as providing additional monies towards projects, it's made those projects rise in their score, which helps for the funding scenario, and voila, here we go. So the other regional authorities are a little older than this authority, and those projects you see in their respective construction districts have benefited throughout the years. It's our time to benefit now, and it's really come home this year. So we got one more meeting to go at CTV, so we got to keep our arms around it, right? So you don't want to count the chicken, right? So we need to keep our arms around that, but we'll be fighting to make sure we keep all the dollars here in the Richmond district that we can. So yeah, so we appreciate that, and thank you for the award. I had no idea this was coming. This is big.
Many of y'all know, my family, we're a Randolph-Macon family. My son went to Randolph-Macon, and so any chance I get to fire shots across the bow at that little school in Farmville, I'll say something about them. And then someone reminded me, they said, you know, Davis, the secretary as well as your CTV member both went to Hampton, Sydney. And I'm like, right, go Tigers, man. I was like, I mean, you got to do what you got to do. But your leadership has been great. And I know the secretary has talked about that. And then your colleagues across the entire state just speak so highly of you, and you deliver. And this is a deliverable organization. So thank you for delivering, and thank you for being part of this team. So
Thank you very much. Very, very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you all for the indulgences. Next item 6, A6 is our executive director's report, Mr. Parsons.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a really quick update. I did want to let the board know that we do have a new hire as the executive director's administrative assistant, and that person is going to be starting at the end of the month. So we are, crossing all the T's and dotting all the I's now with the paperwork and making sure everything is in place. But we're excited about introducing you formally in August at our next meeting. So thank you very much for your support, and I'm thankful for the additional support that this position is going to provide for the entire agency, and look forward to many years working together. Thank you.
Very well. Thank you, Mr. Parsons. Next item B, these are our action items. There's a candidate project recommendation designating working capital reserve 5.05 million. You'll find that on page 11. This action item is to commit 4 million into interest earnings to the Fall Line Design and Build #2 project. For those who had any questions about that, and the remaining 1.05 million and that interest on those earnings to the regional project balance. So I'm going to turn this over to Mr. Parsons, but I am going to do this in a little bit of a workshop format and open it up. So if you've got a question for Mr. Parsons, just holler out, and we'll do this a little bit more nitty gritty. So Mr. Parsons, I'll turn it over to you on this action.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. I wanted to provide a quick background item. This actually originated back in September of 24 at this body, where there was action taken on interest income from FY24. The desire of the authority was to hold 5.05 billion of that interest income for project applications. And since that time, the TAC has been working very diligently to assess current project needs. What are the things that are shovel ready and able to be taken up. There's a brief summary, as the chair mentioned on page 11. The most recent consideration was that the TAC recommended that the 5.05 million from FY24 would be set aside for balance entry, and the utility of balance entry is those funds can be applied from time to time for, cost escalations, inflation impacts, a lot of the things that every jurisdiction is experiencing right now with getting projects across the line. Since that TAC meeting, and it's under additional information at the center of the page, we received multiple, detailed communication from VDOT stating that bids have been received for the Fall Line Design Build #2 project, which if you are following along, that project is the second design build project. Design Build 1 goes from Ashland all the way through Hanover County, across the Chickahominy into Henrico. That project is almost ready for ribbon cutting. Design Build 2 is at the point where awards are imminent. But the cost expectations for that project have increased with a deficit of 10.2 million. Design Build 2, just for reference, and I think Mr. Hodges asked about this, extends from Chester Linear Park in Chesterfield County south through our southern neighbors around Virginia State and across the Appomattox to Patton Park. So again, roughly 10 miles of trail that will be handled in the same fashion, design build. So it's a full package of, engineering, right of way, construction, design, all of that happens under that one contract to actually save costs at the end of the day. So we are at a place where there is a delta, and the ability of this 5.05 million in balance entry that was recommended for balance entry to be applied to help get that project awarded and under construction is very timely. So the recommendation that Finance Committee discussed was to recommend the authority commit 4 million of that 5.05 million to the Design Build 2 project, and to allocate the remaining 1.05 million to the regional project balance entry. And in our detailed conversations with VDOT, if the authority was able to contribute that $4 million, the remainder, the 6.2, would be able to be recouped through state funds. So that's a similar type of split that we have seen on other fall line sections in terms of CVTA commitment. So we do feel like that is a good investment, and it is one that can take advantage of the current market conditions before any fluctuation might happen. So the requested action today is to make that commitment from the Finance Committee recommendation, 4 million in interest earnings to Design Build 2, and allocate the remaining 1.05 million to the project balance entry. Mr. Chair, I'd be happy to take any questions. I understand you wanted to open it up.
I do. Are there any questions or comments? Anything at all? I really appreciate the members who've worked on this, and of course, staff for bringing this. It's very technical, and Chet did a great job breaking it down in simple terms to show what it is. Anybody care to have any discussion on this? Okay, is there a motion to commit the 4 million in interest earnings to the full line Design Build number 2 project, and the remaining 1.05 million in interest earnings to the regional project balance entry? Is there a motion?
Mr. Chair, I think there was a motion made unanimously from the Finance Committee, so I believe the motion's already on the floor. I believe you just need a second.
That's correct. That's correct. Yes, sir. Okay, very well. Are you
Second.
seconding that?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. It can go this easy, Kevin. You know what I mean? The chair stands corrected, and we now have a second. Very well. Any further discussion?
Technical guy, I apologize.
Any further discussion? Any at all? Ms. Scott?
Mr. Hodges,
Aye.
Mr. Atkins, Mr. Carroll,
Aye.
Mr. Spoonhour,
Aye.
Chair Davis,
Aye.
Vice Chair Nelson,
Aye.
Mr. Moyer,
Aye.
Mayor Avula,
Aye.
Delegate Cousins, and Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Thank you. That motion carries.
That motion passes. Thank you. Moving to section C of our agenda, the CVTA Finance Committee report. The chair recognizes Chairman Spoonhour of the Finance Committee. Chairman Spoonhour.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was unable to attend, and my vice chair, the Honorable Mr. Moyer, was gracious enough to lead and did a great job. So I'll turn it over to him to give the report.
Thank you, Mr. Spoonhour. The report was just taken care of in the last action item. That was pretty much what we discussed at the Finance Committee. There are a few processes we're still trying to differentiate and try to make sure we have a good idea about them. Also, we talked about the next steps for bond funding. And I think Mr. Parsons will go over some of that later on. That's it.
Thank you, sir, and thank you for that meeting. I attended and it was weighty and but you did a fantastic job getting that information out. And so thank you for doing that. We'll move into C1B, Mr. Parsons.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The financial report and investment report are in your agenda packet, starting on page 12. I believe in the past, I may have jumped the gun a little bit. We are still looking at this calendar year for a big milestone in terms of tax revenues. I don't think it will be as accelerated as I may have led you all to believe, but we are steadily making progress on building that receipt of taxes, and the expectation now is about the end of the calendar year, we'll be passing $1 billion in tax revenues. So that's a huge accomplishment for the authority, as we've discussed in the past. I will note that actually, as of this morning, I did get a new update from our fiscal agent on tax activities through the end of May. So it would add 1 month to this, and I'll be certain to make sure that is included in the meeting materials. But one thing to highlight is that our working capital reserve balance is now over the requirement of 18 million. So congratulations on meeting that, and hats off to our investment team on making sure that those interest dollars continue to come in and support the work of the authority. We now have the security of that working capital reserve in full, and as we move forward, as Mr. Moyer mentioned, into the bond process, that is something that will reflect very highly on the standing of the authority to have that working capital reserve in place. The investment report for April is on page 13, and just wanted to note the cumulative interest earnings for FY25 at the bottom of the page, continuing to rise as we now come to expect month over month. So we are continuing to work with Chesterfield County as the fiscal agent to make sure that dollars are reinvested when they are available and can be put to a fund or a time limit that best reflects the desires of the authority to continue to look for those good rates and provide assets that can be considered for many different uses by the authority at the end of the day. Mr. Chair, that's it for the report. I'd be happy to take any questions.
Any questions?
Mr. Chairman, just a quick comment if you would. I just wanted to thank everybody for the opportunity to chair the Finance Committee this year. It was a great honor. Two things that we have been working on, we were hoping to get completed by now, but we're not. Mr. Parsons is working, and I'm sure it will carry forward to the next chair of the next Finance Committee. But we don't have a process by which to access those funds. So Mr. Parsons is working on creating the process by which the guidelines that we would recommend to the full committee on how do we, under what conditions will we actually access the reserves. And then the other thing we're working on and have been working on is the reporting. If you read the legislation, part of what we have to do, and Mr. Carroll, I know you're fully aware, but we have to sign off as finance chair. We have to sign off on all of the distributions. In the code, it says that we have to verify the project status, and currently we're not doing that. So Mr. Parsons and staff have been working on as easy a process as we can so that the localities can report out, so we can fulfill the obligations set to us by the General Assembly. So those things will be ongoing to the next committee. I just want to bring that to order and just thank everybody for the opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That we appreciate your leadership there. Anything further, Mr. Chairman?
I just want to, I can't pass up the opportunity to say two things. One, it's, we volunteered Rebecca to do as our fiscal agent to do our investment strategies, and I think she's done an admirable job. in the time that she's been involved in this as our treasurer, Chesterfield County. She's shown does a great job for us in that role, but also in investing our own funds through Chesterfield. But for us to be as successful, I think, as she's been, has been pretty amazing. And I just wanted to take the time to comment to that.
Yeah. Comments very, very appropriate and well deserved from Jessica, and no question about it. I mean, you're exactly right, Mr. Carroll. Phenomenal job, and has served us well, very, very well.
Ms. Longacre is her team are very talented and I don't know, I look at the numbers, it's just amazing.
Yeah. Well, please send our gratitude back to Ms. Longacre. Anything further? Very well. We'll move into our TAC committee update. Smith, thank you, ma'am.
Good morning.
Good morning.
The TAC met on May 12th, and in addition to discussing the Fall Line Trail Design Build 2 item that you all just took action on, we came away with a couple homework assignments. One of those is to update our regional spend down plans. Then those updates are due June 27th. And we also discussed the bond issuance, next steps, and the tax roll in that. And Chet also asked us to provide an estimate and schedule for each locality's top priority project. We're to be ready for that, so. And that's all I have.
Thank you, ma'am. Any questions for Ms. Smith? Any comments in general? Thank you as always, ma'am. BC3, other reports, our outreach metrics update. Ms. Hott is with us. Thank you for being here, ma'am. If you turn to page 15, you'll see the information provided. Ms. Hott, the floor is yours. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Chair Davis, and thank you to everyone. I don't want to overstate the value or importance of this presentation, but I am a little bit of a super fan of the CVTA, so forgive me if I'm a little zealous. I joined Plan RVA in September of last year, and part of my duties is to manage the social media content for Plan RVA, and I learned that I would also get to participate with CVTA's social media presence. And so in the beginning months, was posting, sort of haphazardly or as something came up or reposting, and I met with Mr. Parsons to talk about a strategy that would potentially help grow public participation and awareness of the incredible work that you all talked about today. If we look into the slides, you'll see just a few points that I've highlighted about the reach. I care about the public knowing as much as you do and your constituents about the work that you're doing. And I think social media is one of those avenues, not the only. But you'll see in the highlighted data that we developed a strategy that started in December to create 4 to 5 posts a month on a rotating basis, focused on different content, sort of a do you know education, but also project spotlights and website features, because there's a brand new wonderful website that you all looked at. And so you'll see there's a comparison from the first 2 quarters of the fiscal year with the last 2, and obviously up until the May date that I pulled the data. But we went from sort of 5 posts to 25 posts. So there's more frequency, and we introduced some video. So we've had a lot more interest in looking at the videos. I'm gonna go ahead into the next slide. This slide shows sort of who is following. I think it's really interesting to see who's engaging with your content or who knows about the fact that you're on a social platform. We've had 9 new followers since this data was pulled, so we're at 241. And I'll just briefly touch on that in a minute, that number, because I do follow. Sometimes when there's 3 new follows, I mentioned to Mr. Parsons, yay, it's this work of social media is sort of a mystery, I think, to many, but you can follow and you can see content without following. So when someone follows you, they're taking action to say, I want to keep up to date, not just kind of seeing something across. So I always like to celebrate and look and see who that is. You'll see on this slide that the majority of folks are from the greater Richmond area. But we've got 20 people from the DC area, or a few more, and Hampton Roads, New York, Greater Charlottesville, Denver. If the list kept going down, I think we actually see Alaska and some other places. So I'm not sure they're one person, but it is nice to see who the followers are, and I think that's good for you all to be aware of as well.
So question, followers on what?
On LinkedIn, I'm so sorry, but LinkedIn is the channel that the CVTA currently uses. So has not branched out into Facebook or Instagram or TikTok. You know, I'm sure there are some who may be on TikTok and would love to see CVTA there. But currently it's the LinkedIn platform, which is kind of like the professional platform. So folks are on there in a professional way. And the content that we're producing is a good match for that. Sorry, I didn't recognize that. You can see here by industry, sort of who the followers are. And again, that number is now 241. I hate to see it reflecting old data, but
242.
242. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. Secretly under the table. Thank you. I did check to see who in the room was following, and I'm not at all. Just opportunities abound. But just also to see from industry sort of who is engaging. And I think that list is equally interesting that, you know, you would expect a lot of civil engineers and government administration, but also nonprofit organizations are in that list, higher education. So, and if anyone would like to drill down more on this data, I'm happy to engage with you. You know, as I said, I like to talk about growing awareness. The next slide just shows sort of our impressions, or, you know, like how many times people might have an opportunity to see something. And then our reach, it just speaks to the number of LinkedIn users. So that's a really important number, because if you're not following us and you happen to be on LinkedIn users and it comes across and you don't react to it, but you see it, that's called an impression. But it could be that something is shared and then someone sees it on another platform. So those numbers are, you know, they're not bad. You know, nearly 4,000 impressions, and we're up 638% from the previous quarter. I guess those are the numbers. Again, I do not want to overestimate, but that's because we put the strategy in place. And again, we're not doing any spending of money on the post. This is all organic marketing, what we call that. There are options, as the next slide would show you, that we've had 33 reshares of content, which is up 560% from 5 in the previous quarter. So it's not this isn't groundbreaking reach, but it is showing that a strategy can help us. And we've had 6 comments, so not a lot of comments, but we had 1 in the previous. And then the next to last slide is really showing our engagement. So 12.15% engagement rate, which is down from 16.2% from the previous quarter. But I will say that the average rate is really around 3 to 6%. So we're about 4 times the average engagement rate on LinkedIn. And that is because the people who do follow, those 242 people, actually do engage. So this audience of followers actually is following because they want to know, and that's pretty good. Not to have 5,000 people who never engage with you, but the number who are following for a reason. And again, it could be that we're posting more, the decline, more to interact with, that it's organic, the content. But I will say we did the top post was recently Mr. Parsons. I asked if he wouldn't mind being in a video just to sort of test that out, talking about at that point, $906.6 million of allocated funding, which is exciting again to me. So there's potential opportunity. And again, the last slide is just sort of showing where we are. The industries, we're at 12.15, and the industry standard is about 3.6. So we're headed in the right direction, but I guess this is a ask for people to, if you are active on LinkedIn, please do follow the page and reshare. That would be great. And I'm always talking about it. If you're not active on LinkedIn, it's okay. Actually, it's better not to follow if you're not active. If you have an account that someone told you to make, you're never on there, that's okay. So don't feel bad about not following if you're not active, but thank you if you do. I do want to do one impromptu thing, if it would be okay, before a question, if there is one.
If it's impromptu, you don't ask for.
Oh, yeah. I would like to, you know, I'd love to take a photo, because these boardroom photos sort of are a little, no one can really see your faces. But if you could just think of a constituent who you would love to see you sort of saying, yes, come here, make a public comment, learn more about what we do. I'm just going to move back there, and you could just like wave to that one constituent.
My mother is actually a constituent. She actually said a lot.
All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Hi. Thank you. Oh my gosh.
Right. Thank you, Ms. Knight. We appreciate
Thank you.
it. Thank you. You know, that is not an easy job in tracking those matrix. And I would agree, you know, you're right here at 250. Looks like we'll be at 250 by the end of the meeting. But, you know, imagine those folks who are engaged on there. I mean, you think 250, if we had all 250 of those in a room, you say, man, that's a pretty big meeting. But they are folks who are really engaged and wanting to know what's going on with CVTA. So I commend you. Thank you, Ms. Hyde. You've done a phenomenal job. So,
Can I ask one?
and yeah, Mr. Parsons has something, please.
Kristen, can I ask one more question, please? Can you talk just a little bit about the content of the, like, what people would see each month?
Yeah, so when we discuss sort of developing a strategy for engagement rather than sort of a random posting, it was intending to educate people about what the authority is and what it does, and also about milestones and projects, the things that are being funded that affect the public's everyday life. And also to be something of a, you know, to rotate the content so it wasn't just static. So the website in particular, there's so many resources, but if people don't know about the website and they are not sure where to go to get what, it's really important to lead that. So, you know, we would love to do spotlights on individual members. You know, that's an investment of time and resources that may not be important enough to sort of invest that amount, but I'm always open to be thinking about how to reach not just people in the professional realm, because Plan RVA would also share on Instagram and Facebook, but there is an intentional rotation, and Chet and I work together to sort of craft the language, look at the graphics, approve that there is an intention. So when you're visiting, hopefully you'll go back, you can look at all the 25 posts in the last couple of quarters, and give me feedback. I'd love to hear what you would like to see. I mean, that would be fantastic if I know you have many more important things to be talking about, but if you ever think about it, thank you.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Mr. Parsons. Anything further? Very well. The next agenda item, there's a need to go into closed session for personnel matter. I will state it is the annual review of our executive director. So I move that the authority convene this meeting in closed session pursuant to the Virginia Freedom of Information Act, section 2.2-371181, for the purposes of discussing personnel matters concerning a CVTA employee during which all recording of the meeting will cease. And I will ask anybody who is not on the authority to please leave the room, as well as staff members. And Sid, I'll ask that you